Hey kids, late video here. This was supposed to release shortly after the Star Eater fiasco, but I ended up buying a house and moving, which took a lot longer than originally anticipated. I'm not one to shit can a video mid-production, so I was determined to release it regardless. Sorry for the delay. Also, while I got you here, don't forget to become part of my Discord. You can share any builds you've come up with. PvE, PvP, meme builds, stasis shitter builds, I don't care. My show is always taking video submissions. Links in the description. Anyway, thanks for sticking around. Let's get this show on the road, yeah? So here's a bunch of neckbeards that are basically just sucking off Star Eater scales because they think it's like the next best damage exotic in Destiny history for hunters, even going far enough to say that it's better than Celestial Nighthawk. The reception of this exotic has been wild, so much so it even got a nerf almost immediately after it released. And you know why that is? Because the neckbeards were right. In this specific scenario, I'm just gonna go ahead and agree. Star Eater Scales is the next best damage exotic in Destiny history for hunters, and I will go far enough to say that it's better than Celestial Nighthawk. But Jesus Christ, is it ugly. This is not something you want to strut down the runway in. Every time I see it, I just start to fucking gag. But if you can get past the abysmal cosmetic design choices and the fact that there's no ornament to remedy that, you'll see this. God damn it. Hold on, that wasn't supposed to happen. I fucked up. Actually, come to think of it, that might have been the wrong exotic too. Jeez, we're off to a great start here. This is the footage I was looking for. And that golden gun, it's about to hit for 91.5k. And that was a Feast of Light times 4. Those are what I like to call big boy numbers, and Star Eater's got plenty to spare. But here's the thing, Star Eater is heavy on the neutral game, meaning that it's a lot like Mantle of Battle Harmony in that respect. You can use it with any of the 4 elements, though the first thought in most minds is bottom tree gunslinger. Let's take a gander at the exotic itself for a moment. That should clear a few things up. You gain additional super energy from orbs of power that you collect. When your super is full, collecting an orb provides a buff called Feast of Light, which overcharges your super. This provides a burst of healing on a cast on top of a substantial increase to damage, and at maximum overcharge, you also get an overshield. As I said a few moments ago, it's one of the most neutral exotics that we've ever gotten. It's good at everything but great at nothing, much like its warlock counterpart, Mantle of Battle Harmony. In this case, it's the damage boost that makes it good, quote-unquote. On the 25th of May, @Corp Projects tweeted about the Star Eater rework with details about how its performance had changed, and after some wizard math that I can't be bothered with, Feast of Light now requires 2 orbs per stack, and the buff from each stack has also been increased. 22.5% at 1 stack, 45 at 2 stacks, 67.5 at 3, and a 90% at 4, as opposed to the previous buff of 15%, 30%, 45%, and 60% respectively. This is a major increase. I know everybody keeps crying about how Star Eater got nerfed, but honestly, this feels more like a balanced buff than anything else. It's not like it's difficult to generate the orbs required, and even then, weapons are constantly generating orbs. Even if you were to die and lose all of your stacks, getting them back isn't even remotely a challenge. Not with all the tools that we have at our disposal. 1 stack, 2 stack, red stack, blue stack. It is legitimately that easy. At the end of the day, it is entirely possible to land 3 golden gun critical shots with the collective damage hitting 80% harder than Nighthawk, which is actually incredible, all things considered. Let's take a look at Nighthawk really quick. I feel like some numbers will give this a bit more context. So here I am, doing my thing, just doing Destiny stuff.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
You know, just a typical murder spree. Nothing special. Let me fire up that golden gun, and pow! 276.9k. That's about as far as you can push Nighthawk here because it can't stack with knock him down. Star Eater, on the other hand, can stack with it, but for the comparison here, I'm intentionally waiting the timer down before casting. Once that golden gun goes live, that first shot hits for 87.7k, the second for 127.8k, and the last shot hits for 166.6k. Collectively, that is 382.1k in damage, which is an astronomical increase from Nighthawk. With all that being said, I do not see the Star Eater nerf as a nerf. As a matter of fact, I think Bungie actually did a great job with this one, even though I hate the fact that those words just came out of my mouth. And I'm not just saying that because Golden Gun slaps. This applies to any subclass that you may be using, so let's take a look at the Orpheus Rig and see how it lines up against Star Eater as well. So here's another very normal combat encounter. No buffs, no nothing, just multi-tether shadow shot. The initial arrow hits for 12.9k, which is expected. the real damage comes from consecutive arrows against tethered targets. The remaining arrows that connect all hit for 64.5k, which is decent. It's a healthy source of chunk damage, not too shabby, right? Now let's take a look at what Star Eater has to offer here. Again, the initial arrow hits for 12.9k. Not sure why, but it did. But the next two arrows that connect, which proceeded to just straight disrespect this sector boss, both hit for 122.6k. That's nearly double the damage of the additional arrows with Orpheus Rig. That's not taking into account that Orpheus Rig allows for extra arrows via Mobius Quiver, but that's neither here nor there. I'm far more interested in the initial hit, which is arguably the most important part of any damage super. What really catches my eye here is the different ways that this alleged nerf has actually made the exotic more of a balanced hard hitter than anything else. But that's because of how neutral it is. It's rather difficult to try building around. About the best you could do is just jack your intellect up to 50 or so and then slot elemental charge and font of wisdom. Maybe try and fit energy converter in there somewhere so you can spam your super? I don't know, just a thought. Just so we're all on the same page here, I'm not actually going to ever use this with Shadow Shot, and to be honest, I don't think anyone would, really. It was more or less just to show how Star Eater universally buffs casting damage, and post-rework, how it buffs them even more. If you're using this, the best option really is the bottom tree golden gun. That's where the damage is, and no other supercharge from the arsenal of a hunter can hit just as hard. But the fact remains here, Star Eater functions better now than it ever did beforehand, from my own perspective at the very least. The increase in damage per stack is crucial in the new balance of the exotic. As I said earlier, what was originally 15%, 30%, 45%, and then 60% from stacks 1 to 4 is now 22.5, 45, 67.5, and finally a 90% at maximum stacks. Really what this translates to is that you get what feels like twice the power for twice the orbs. On the flip side, there also exists data that points towards the damage from each stack being split in half, implying that 3 orbs will generate more damage than just 2. At Court Projects also discusses this a little bit more in the tweets that follow, claiming that there is a max of 4 stacks shown on the buff tray, but a total of 8 damage stacks collectively, each with their own percentage increase. The fact that the orb count was doubled doesn't mean all that much to me, if I'm being honest. Friendly supercharges generate orbs. We have mods that allow us to generate orbs. We have guns that generate orbs. Almost everything in this godforsaken game can generate orbs of power, so the argument that 8 is just too many seems like some unnecessary bellyaching from where I'm standing. Now, I may just be speaking at the wind here, which is entirely fucking possible because a lot of these videos tend to end up like that, but this sounds like the exact opposites of a nerf to me. Honestly, I'm more likely to use it now than I ever was before, especially now that the accidental weapon and ability damage buff was fixed. I'm going to be taking a look at some of these newer guns and how they function in the Crucible over the next week or so if watching me suffer genuinely makes you hard, then stick around, because there's going to be plenty of that real soon, but not before we get back into builds. I've got some projects in the work right now for all 3 classes, and I got a real good feeling about all of them. You guys know the drill. Me in my cell. Goodbye.